Wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Hello and welcome to Marketing Edge on TV, Nigerians' leading initiative in the business of brand management and the management of brand business. It is a 30-minute wholesome package that comprises brand news, branding focus, and industry conversation, all in a mix encompassing thorough and in-depth, all aimed at promoting the brand idea. I'm Ogali Adikele Mafuru.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the brand idea.
Welcome back. First on Marketing Edge on TV is brand news, where we bring you the latest developments around brands and in the field of advertising, marketing, and communication in Nigeria and around the globe. Hello and welcome to Industry Conversation, a segment on Marketing Edge on TV where we have interactions with men and women who have made great impact in strategic positioning and promotion of brands. Today we have with us the Managing Director and Founder of Ark Technologies Group, Mr. Uche Ugbor. You're welcome to Industry Conversation.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And I would like to say it's such a pleasant, opportunity to be meeting the first assembler of ATM in Nigeria. That's such a remarkable feat.
Thank you.
Well, I would like you to talk to us about the industry in terms of how far has it gone, being the first person to actually come up with an idea of assembling an ATM, automated service in Nigeria?
All right. The industry has really gone so far. And I would say dated back to the first deployment of ATM in Nigeria, which could be as far back as probably 2003, 2004. At that point, there was no interoperability among the banks until the InterSwitch and this came into being. And so we could talk about ATM from the point when banks are able to operate. You could have a Zenith card and then you take your money out of UBA. And that essentially would be started about maybe 2005, 2006. And since then, it's been a very steady growth, if not for one or two, I would say, policy issues that has tried to decline the growth of that particular industry. And so far, so good, I would say. We've tried to do our best to see that industry really grows. From the very first ATM deployed and to the point when everywhere, the ATM, it was moving really to be deployed every nooks and cranny everywhere in Nigeria until recently that a few policies came up, a few issues came up, and then it does seem like the banks are no longer, the appetite to deploy ATM has reduced, significantly.
Okay, you made mention of the government policy becoming a challenge to your business, and we're beginning to see a lot of people moving to different digital formats, and platform to carry out their various payment services. Now, would you also say that this is also a challenge to you because people wouldn't have to go to ATM machines to, do their various transactions?
No, it wouldn't be a challenge. Actually, these things were meant to be complementary, right? It's meant to complement each other in being able to make people have access to their money and be able to use it wherever they want to use it. Okay. Now, in our own climate, there is need for cash. There's still very much need for cash, and there's also a need for electronic transfers. We can't take away the fact that we're not yet there when we talk about full cashless. There are infrastructures that is meant to be on ground, before you can really talk about being full cashless, and those infrastructures in some areas are not yet on ground, When we're talking about, don't forget there are villages. Lagos, Port Harcourt, and Abuja is not a typical example of what represents all Nigeria. Okay, so there are infrastructures that are clearly lacking in certain locations. But part of what I was saying really is At some point, the government granted some licenses for people to do independent ATM deployment. Then later the license was, that policy was also reversed. Then came up a whole lot of things. But the main one that has affected the industry right now is the fact that a lot of banks have lost, the appetite has dropped because a lot are now investing on agency banking. All right. And that's why you see a lot of people in the streets, in the market, having POS and then doing bank work, so to speak. But really, as an industry practitioner, I think that shouldn't be the way we should go. I think that these are mundane jobs that machine would do better than a human being. For a graduate to sit under an umbrella and be giving money and be collecting money and things that is fully employed, I think it's a mistake. So partly the fact that CBN woke up and say that we're taking out the 100 naira payment that people used to pay when you withdraw money from ATM has a very big impact on the industry. Okay, and further it went down to 65, further went down to 35. And so these are some of those challenges that sometimes you wonder, it's this well thought through, because the fact that the banks are no longer buying ATMs the way they used to buy has reduced the people that were meant to invest in that industry, has now started to look for alternative ways. Okay, so even if you go to the likes of the most developed countries in the world, in the US, in the UK, or Korea, you see ATMs everywhere, in China, everywhere. Now, our environment is a little bit different. Our environment is such that we cannot go and copy what is done in other climates and just come and paste it. We need to paste it special. We need to look at the peculiarities of our environment before certain decisions are taken. Okay, so that is one side. But what is also important to note here is that the fact that some companies that by now would have been manufacturing ATMs in Nigeria has changed the plan, all right, and start investing in other things, meant that other digital devices that we would have been able to produce by now, we are still not able to do it. For instance, the POS or even the kiosks and the what is called, I mean, a digital bank, a kiosk that is able to make you get your card, deposit your money, withdraw your money, pay your NEPA bill, pay your light bill, and even up to the point of paying for your CFO for your building. Now, these are the things that an ATM can really do. But the investment in that area, the research in that area has really dwindled, because if you don't make money in doing a business, you have no reason remaining in that business. Okay. And these monies were made by the fact that the banks were ordering for the ATMs, and the banks were putting these ATMs in certain locations. Sometimes we call it offsite, you know. And for now, that idea has really reduced seriously among the banks. You know, having offsite ATMs for some of them is no longer profitable. So again, for a bank, why should you go into that? You understand? So these are the challenges. However, I don't think that it means that ATM will, the dream we have of making Nigeria very independent in terms of capacity to produce some of these digital devices that are required. I think that these dreams still exist. I know it still exists. I know we are still working on it. And I know that's why we are able to do our own assembly of the ATM down here. And we know we are going to scale up from that point to other areas. I mean, as long as the environment, the operating environment allows us to do that, why not? We will. We know how harsh it is, but we will do our best.
Okay, so we've seen rapid shift to technology, different forms of digital, devices, I should say. And you clearly stated that you're looking at enhancing your services and to meet up with the current yearnings of your consumers. But there's something else I would like you to talk about, which is, of course, technological adoption. Because if there is no technological adoption, then people wouldn't really see the need for your service. So how would you assess the level of technological adoption in Nigeria as it is today? Seeing that the pandemic has greatly impacted on every sector, and people are beginning to look for digital means to solve their problems.
If there's any country in the world there is hunger for technology, or the adoption is very fast. Nigeria is one of them. In fact, we are very peculiar people. Sometimes in fact, all the time, I'm very proud to be a Nigerian. Because when I travel to other countries and see what's happening and see the level we are, particularly in terms of our payments, right? What we're able to do here, in some of the countries that you might even think they're well advanced, are not yet at that level. So, to answer the question, yes, the adoption in Nigeria has been very, 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 very massive, and it's going to continue. Don't forget we have a youthful generation. I mean, we have more youths in the country than the other. So chances are that, yes, the adoption is going to continue. We are very open. In fact, the appetite to consume technology or digital related offerings is very high compared to a whole lot of other places. So I would say any investment in that direction is not a mistake at all.
So you talked about the impact of government policy on the financial sector and how it's also impacting on your business. And something came to mind. We're beginning to see that telcos are getting into the payment system and opening PSB, payment service banks. And aside the fact that we also have commercial banks having this small, subset of, services in different corners to meet the financial needs of consumers. We also see telcos doing the same. So how does this impact on your business?
Okay. We are not in the business of, we are not in the financial business. We are in the digital support business. In other words, we support banks to be able to deliver their services digitally. So whether it is a payment service bank, whether it is a commercial bank opening a fintech, or whether it is any of those things happen, it doesn't interfere really with our own. Ours is, people have got their money in the bank, they want to have access to it, and they want to use it anytime they want. So we produce, or we assemble ATMs that will make them have cash if they want, and we personalize cards. So make them also have their money through the card schemes. Okay, so whether it is PSB or whether it is a bank, they still need our services. As I've said, in our line of business, we are into the ATM, the physical ATM. We're also into the cards, right? So we have the capacity to personalize the cards and make you have access to your money anytime using your card, right from your bedroom, using the internet. Okay, so we're actually happy to see other kind of innovative service provision coming from other sectors. I mean, coming from the banks and other people. And I think it's going to continue, because if you look at what's happening in fintechs, if you look at what's happening in, I mean, everybody would rather enjoy the convenience of doing whatever it has to do without going to the banking hall. Everybody would like that. I would love that. I mean, I'm sure you would like that. So all these services are all geared towards helping you to achieve it. And what we do is that we stay behind these banks and provide the devices, both the hardware and the software, that will enable them provide those services. So we don't interface directly with the financial consuming public.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the bright idea.
Well, that's how much we can take on Marketing Edge on TV this week. Do well to join us for the second part of our conversation with the Managing Director of Ark Technologies Group, Mr. Uche Ugbor. I'm Ogalia Bikele Mafru. See you again.